Hey guys, Aqua Duelist here, and I just want to say something real quick. Let's be real about legacy decks for a moment. There's reasons why they don't top big events. They're not really that competitive. Why am I talking about this? Well, last week I got a comment on my most recent Blackluster Soldier deck profile, which I think I did around a month ago. I'll link in the description down below if you haven't seen it and would like to. Someone commented asking how competitive this deck could be, and I basically explained, well, the furthest this deck could go would be to maybe top a locals. And, I pointed out how basically, while the incantations were a major improvement to the deck, the initial drawbacks of it were still there and will most likely not be fixed. And the person then replied, well, I think it's up to the person who can really use it, and right there I do want to say, to me, that sounds like this person doesn't really play competitively. They haven't gone to any big events or anything like that, and I know I haven't been able to go to like a YCS or anything, and that's basically because I just haven't had a chance. On top of that, too, I still try to think like a competitive player, and I try to have that competitive mindset even when I'm playing these more fun decks. How good can I make these decks be? So, um, the thing is, the reason, like, I'm just gonna go for using BLS as an example here. Reasons why it hasn't essentially topped a big event. And actually, we haven't seen any legacy deck top a big event other than really Blue Eyes, and even with that, Blue Eyes is still a bad deck. Sorry, Blue Eyes players, but you're just Blue Eyes itself is just not a good deck. Pretty much mostly all legacy decks aren't really that good. Competitive wise, that's just kind of how it is. But the thing with BLS, the reason why it's not a super competitive deck is because of the Super Soldier and the Ritual spell it has. Now, guys are unfamiliar, Super Soldier, if you summon it using the big dude, or not the big dude, the two small ones, was it like Dark Beginning Night and Twilight Evening Night, something kind of like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, so I apologize for the other BLS players who are watching this. Stop my head, I can't think the stuff. So you have to essentially use the two small guys to be able to get the big Super Soldier to be able to banish two cards essentially. On top of that, too, you can only special summon one Super Soldier once per turn, and the Ritual spell, which is really good actually, being able to essentially send one from the hand and one from the deck to Ritual summon a monster, a BLS. Not only from the hand, but the grave itself. Like, this is ridiculous. But the drawback is, it has a hard once per turn activation. So let's say somebody negates the activation, or just negates the card, not the activation, sorry, just negates it. Well, BLS is kind of screwed, essentially. It can't go for that big play it wants to, and banish your opponent's cards. And essentially what would happen is, you could use the incantations to essentially bring out, a Super Soldier and a regular BLS, but then essentially you're just left with two beat sticks on the field. And, well, two monsters with 3,000 attack, no real effects, isn't that great right now. It's kind of old, a little too old for the format, and that's why BLS just isn't really competitive. Now, haven't really messed with, I messed a little bit with Dark Magician, and just to be honest, the support it has just isn't good enough, and, well, I haven't actually touched Red Eyes, so, but it's pretty much everywhere. I felt like with Red Eyes, support's just kind of all over the place, and that's why I felt like the biggest issue with that was, I mean, if you guys play Red Eyes, you guys can correct me, I just haven't really touched the deck. I'm not even going to talk about Blue Eyes, but other things that looking at some of the other legacy decks I've talked about recently or gone into, specifically with the Legendary Fisherman, because I recently did a video reviewing all of the Legendary Fisherman support because Mako was getting introduced in Speed Duels. Um, Legendary Fisherman 3, a really amazing boss monster. Essentially, we're able to banish a good bit of your opponent's field. The biggest draw, and it has like another effect, if I remember correctly. But the biggest drawback is you have to tribute a uh, legendary fisherman to summon it, and here's the issue with that. Now, you're only going to be playing a total of 6 legendary fishermen, 3 ones and or no, 3 ones, yeah, 3 legendary fisherman ones and 3 twos. Now, in order to search legendary fisherman 3, a number 2 has to essentially leave the field because you're by your opponent's card effects or just they destroy it to be able to search that. So now you're down to 5 legendary fishermen. And you have to essentially tribute one of those. And on top of that, too, in order to really play your legendary fishermen, you're going to have legendary ocean on the field. So already right there, that's kind of a lot to go through just to even get your legendary fisherman 3 and be able to get it on the field. So there's that. So you kind of have to go through a lot just to get this big guy out. Something else I want to talk about too is insects, because I've been toying with insects lately. For those of you who bothered to watch that, I know that was not a popular deck profile I did, and when I did the follow-up video, for those who really wanted it because it met the required amount of likes, still wasn't a popular video. Best card that they have, two of the best cards that insects really have in that with the legacy support is Metamorphosed Insect Queen, which essentially can't be summoned at all except by another card effect, and she can basically you can tribute a monster, run over tribute an insect, run over another opponent's monster, and she's a token generator. Again, you have to actually summon her by another card effect that's in her effect. And the other really good card that is mainly what you'd be using to bring her out is Ultra Kuna Evolution, the biggest draw, which lets you summon any insect from the deck. The biggest drawback to it is you have to tribute a insect monster with a equip card to it. Now, that's actually not terrible. I'm just gonna say that that's actually not really. It's really not that bad. And to be honest, out of most of the legacy support with like the cards with the drawbacks, that's actually not a fairly not bad one at all. Honestly, it's kind of easy to do. So I guess that's kind of maybe I'm not proving my point with that one, but it's just the recent one, something recent legacy support that I've been messing with that I felt like I could bring up. So, but yeah, like there's reasons why this stuff just doesn't top at events, and mainly just because it's not super competitive, even though they have, maybe 1 or 2, maybe even 3 really good cards. The issue is the drawbacks to them, though, usually aren't really worth it in a sense. Now, I still love these decks. I still love Legacy support. Actually, I really love Legacy support that isn't Red Eyes, Blue Eyes, or Dark Magician. I go crazy over Legacy support that doesn't revolve around those. So, but yeah. Usually the drawbacks to essentially the few really good cards that these legacy archetypes have essentially is what is keeping them from being really competitive and is why they're not out topping at events. And honestly, some of these legacy archetypes like BLS just hasn't had any actual direct support for quite some time. Is it possible BLS could get some new direct support? I highly doubt it. The last time that deck got actual direct support was Dimensions of Chaos, so it's been quite some time. And the new Link that's in the Link monster they have in the OCG doesn't support the archetype at all, which is really weird. So, but I digress. So, for those of you who do like Legacy support, what is your favorite Legacy deck? If it's Blue Eyes, I'm sorry, guys, for what I said in the beginning, but I think the first step to playing a Legacy archetype is acknowledging that it's bad in competitive sense. So, but yeah, what's your favorite Legacy archetype? Obviously, mine I would say is probably BLS. Although I am really enjoying insects, and I'm going to be toying with Legendary Fisherman soon. So yeah, like to know in the comments. If you guys like this video, give this video a like. Want to see more of my content? Hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are awesome.